Amber's lorry broke down on a remote stretch of road, forcing Kalie to be the one to pick her up. The moment was unavoidable. They were alone in the car for an hour, tension thick between them, neither willing to acknowledge the charged air that filled the space. The call had come in late in the afternoon. One of the yard workers had relayed the message to Kalie, saying Amber was stranded a good 45 minutes away, her lorry refusing to start. Kalie had hesitated before volunteering to go, knowing full well what it would mean. She told herself it was purely practical. She was already off-site and had her car. It made sense, but deep down, she knew the real reason she had spoken up before anyone else could. When she pulled up to Amber's truck, the redhead was leaning against the side of it, arms crossed, looking entirely unbothered by the inconvenience. She had her phone in hand, but pocketed it when she spotted Kalie. Amber asked, "Rescue mission?" Kalie replied, "Hop in before I change my mind. Dad's sorting out the recovery." Amber smirked, but didn't argue. She climbed into the passenger seat, bringing with her the scent of cedarwood and something else. Something distinctly her. Kalie tightened her grip on the steering wheel, already feeling off balance. As they pulled onto the road, silence settled between them. Kalie focused on driving, her fingers clenching the wheel too tightly. She was hyper-aware of Amber's presence beside her, of the way the woman sat so comfortably, one hand resting lazily on the door. Amber said, "You're quiet." Kalie replied softly, "Just tired." Amber quickly replied, "Liar." Kalie shot her a look, but Amber just smirked and looked out the window. The silence stretched again, heavier this time. Kalie could feel it pressing down on her, and she hated it. She hated how much control Amber seemed to have over the space between them. How she could make Callie's pulse quicken without even trying. Amber announced, "Let's stop somewhere." Kalie replied, somewhat shocked, "What? I'm starving, let's grab food." Kalie hesitated. "Shouldn't we head straight back?" Amber persisted. "What's the rush?" "Fine," Kalie agreed. The pub they found was small, warm and quiet. Kalie picked at her food while Amber dug in, seemingly unaffected by the strange atmosphere between them. "Amber, you're acting like I dragged you here against your will." Kalie told Amber, "I just wasn't expecting this." Amber teased, "You weren't expecting to be alone with me." Kalie replied, blushing, "That's not what I meant." "Then what did you mean?" "You always do this," Kalie said dejectedly. Amber relied, "Do what?" "You push. And you run," Amber stated. By the time they stepped out of the pub, Callie's nerves were shot, and all she wanted was to escape to the comfort of home. They reached the car, and Kalie fumbled in her pocket for the keys. She needed space. She needed to breathe. But before she could react, Amber was there, closer than before. Amber whispered, "Kalie." She looked up just as Amber reached for her, cupping her face with both hands. There was no hesitation this time, no waiting for permission. Amber kissed her. It wasn't soft. It wasn't a question. It was months of tension, of frustration, of unspoken words colliding all at once. Kalie gasped against her lips, but the sound was lost between them as Amber pressed her back against the car. Callie's body reacted before her mind could catch up. Her fingers clutched at Amber's jacket, pulling her closer instead of pushing her away. The heat between them was overpowering, stealing the air from her lungs. Amber pulled her in closer, her grip firm at Callie's waist, deepening the kiss. The intensity of it was almost too much, stealing the breath from Callie's lungs. But instead of pulling away, she found herself leaning in, wanting more. But that realization sent a bolt of fear through her. Panic took over, and she tore herself away, gasping as her heart pounded. Amber's expression was unreadable, but she didn't step back. Instead, she reached up, brushing her fingers over Callie's jaw in a lingering touch. Amber pleaded, "Stop running!" Kalie stammered, I don't know what I'm doing." Amber searched her face for a long moment before nodding. Then, without another word, she stepped back, giving Kalie the space she so desperately needed. But as Kalie stood there, chest heaving, lips tingling from Amber's kiss, she realized something horrifying. She didn't want space, and this time, Running away wasn't an option. Like and subscribe for part 5 of Breaking the Silence. Also for more great stories for the soul.